Well, with me now is Imad Mesdoua, who is a political analyst focusing on North Africa. Thanks for taking time to talk to us. So, Mr. Essebsi has been described as having transformed himself into a technocrat, but he did serve under the Ben Ali regime. What is it, do you think, he has done or told the Tunisians to make him so popular?
Well, I think it's a promise on delivering when it comes to the economy. He's obviously used his experience in government to show that he is an experienced political leader, which is what most Tunisians are currently looking for. You know, after a transition period which was marked by a lot of inefficiency in the eyes of many Tunisians in terms of delivering on economic promises, the Arab Spring's main concerns were around socioeconomic grievances, and when governments in the transition were unable to deliver that, they turned to the person that was able to promise them the most efficient outcomes.
Most efficient outcomes, but coming from an old regime, a lot of people would be would be wondering how is this possible?
Well, there are accusations surrounding Beji Qaid Essebsi and his political party, Imad Tunis, that an administration led by Essebsi would come carrying with it a lot of members of the former regime, but they also have chosen to overlook that, I guess, some Tunisians, based on the fact that they might have been technocrats with experience who know how to run government, which wasn't the case for some other parties like, for example, Ennahda, who have been in the opposition their whole history, a persecuted opposition, but with no real governing experience. So people probably chose to overlook the ties.
You mentioned socio-economic issues. Is that still the main challenge in Tunisia today?
Yes, very much so, and it's the challenge for many other countries in North Africa. There's high unemployment rates for young people. The key challenge for Beji Qaid Essebsi and his administration now will be to expand economic opportunities for those marginalized sections of the population. But it's not the only one. Security is a major challenge now for Tunisia as well. Terrorist organizations that are operating in Tunisia, but also a number of, Tunisia has provided the highest number of jihadis from the Arab world in the Islamic State in Iraq. So the return of those jihadis will pose a serious challenge for security in Tunisia.
But now he comes in with lesser powers. How much do you think, or how much influence do you think he'll have in government?
Well, he certainly will have to govern based on coalitions and based on consensus. I think one thing that the democracy that Tunisia is showing the Arab world now, which is highly important and symbolic, is that no one can govern alone. Imad Tunis will have to govern along other parties with Afaq Tunis, for example, the Popular Front as well. There are a number of parties that they will have to govern with in order to pass things through. They do have a mandate based on the fact that they've won the legislative elections and they've now won the presidential elections. But alone, they cannot do that, and it's going to be their historic obligation to bring Tunisians together regardless of who they voted for.
All right, Imad, thank you very much for taking time to talk to us on the program. Well, let's now take a look at other African and global news.